Hello, everybody. My name is Dead Action Jones, and I'm joined by Joe Zombie, and this is the Still Standing podcast. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm ready and raring to hear the news.
Me too.
Yep.
We've got a ton of
My
news.
favorite thing.
We have so much news today. So much stuff happened in a 1 week period. It is kind of insane.
Yeah, I think when we were talking before we started recording, you were like, I have like 2 pages. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot of news today, for sure. But let's talk about how our weeks were. Did you get anything to do? What'd you do? How'd it go?
It went okay. I've started taking some classes online, kind of going back to school to, of course, everyone needs more knowledge.
Sure.
Because until this gets off the ground, I guess we'll still need day jobs. So.
Hey, how about that? We can dream, right? We can dream.
But mostly it's been I almost died in my D&D group last week. That was a thing. I had to fight a shark god.
Yeah. Shark god? Like, are we talking about like Megan Water or Fishman?
Like Megan Water, like a literal shark god.
Okay, like snake. Yeah, okay, like a Loa god thing. Okay, gotcha.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So that was a thing that almost happened, and that was a lot of fun. But mostly my week has just so much Elden Ring has been done, and also I feel like I have played so much, but also done absolutely nothing in that game.
Yeah.
It is.
Me too.
Right now, that is like the only game that I'm playing. I probably should be getting onto my Destiny 2 stuff, but every time I get on my Xbox, I'm like, I want to play Elden Ring.
You should also do some Sea of Thieves stuff. We've got something about that coming up in the news as well.
Yeah.
Last week was the first week of Still Standing, so I spent a lot of my week doing a ton of stuff behind the scenes, getting that all up and running. So now our podcast is on Apple Podcasts. It's on SoundCloud. It's not on Spotify because their stuff is very complicated for no reason, and so therefore they can keep Joe Rogan, and we're not currently there. Apologies to the people who want to watch it there. We are also on YouTube for the video version that you may or may not be watching right now. If you are, hi, you see me waving. Aside from that, I had 10 ranks left of the current season of Sea of Thieves that I needed to level through, so I spent the last week leveling through that. It was a lot of fishing, a lot of catching animals, and going and doing tall tales and stuff, because I like to just go do the tall tales and be left alone, so that's a thing that I did. I know that people like to try to say that Sea of Thieves, because the name is a PvP focused thing, but I think the PvE in that game is far better than any ounce of PvP, and clearly the community agrees, or the arena mode wouldn't be dying. Long live the arena mode.
No. It's not that the community agrees that PvP shouldn't be a thing. It's that the community agrees that you should only attack people who aren't looking for a fight. That's what the community agreed on.
Yes, they think you should attack unmanned boats, and then they get these, like, they're like, oh yes, I have my brass wings because I've attacked enough unmanned boats that didn't fight back that I think I'm really hot stuff. And then when the arena mode came out, all those people got deflected by the people who were actually doing that. Also, playing on console in PvP versus people who are playing on PC in PvP is just night and day terrible, because they can literally snipe you with the pistol and then snipe you with the sniper rifle, and you're just dead from a different boat, and you're just like, wow, that was a thing. But I digress.
It's my favorite thing that happens.
Yeah, we will cover more of that in the news. But aside from getting Still Standing up and running, I spent my week playing Sea of Thieves, playing some Destiny. We'll cover some of that in the news as well, because there's Destiny news. And there is also the fact that I played some Elden Ring, found a bug for a boss with you. You were there for that.
Informed the literal possibly dozen viewers that there's a bug that can happen with Rana the Witch. Is it Rana?
Rena the Full Moon. Renala the Full Moon. Yeah, the Full Moon. I also put it on Twitter and tagged Elden Ring's Twitter account, and it was like, hey, this is bad. Because apparently if you are in co-op in Elden Ring and you go into that fight, there's like an 85% chance that she won't have the mechanic that is required to beat her activate. And so instead of having the mechanic active in the room that is very obvious because it's very bright and glowy and very obvious, you can tell, it is just not there, and it's just literally her sans mechanic, and you have to just die. But if you go in
Yeah,
there
you can't. You
solo,
can do
it'll
nothing
always
about
work.
it.
Yeah. So you can do it solo, but and I got her down to one hit. Let's try my pen. I got her down to one hit, and then I was brutally murdered by a bullshit mechanic, is what I'm going to call it. Where'd my pen go? I need that pen.
Yeah, I think from what From Software is trying to tell us is like, why are you playing with friends? Who plays a From Software game with people?
That's not true
Like
at all.
friends are the coward's way.
Nah, that's not true at all. They wouldn't put it in the game. They want you to do that, and I think that it's a good idea. I think it's fun. But I went on vacation last week to a scenic locale that I don't think I don't think I told you I went on vacation, did I?
No.
No, yeah. It was the worst experience ever. Don't ever do that. I went to a
Vacation?
place. Yeah, don't do it. I went to a place called Kalid, and it was the worst. God, I hate that zone.
That is not the vacation destination that I'm here for.
No,
be sure.
Kalid is the worst. That's another Elden Ring joke for the kids.
You like blood, viscera, and fire? Then Caleb's the place for you.
Do you like animals that heads are all bigger than their bodies? Then go to Kalid. It sucks.
I spent a good amount of time getting bodied by Raban and Kaled, so that was fun. That was
that's terrible.
And Kaled.
We as far as other stuff I played for content, we played a lot of Wildermyth. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Talking about D&D and stuff. That has been a lot of fun. You can look for that on the channel.
You can watch us do a bunch of dumb voices. It's great.
It's very fun hearing you do the voice for Jan Lore Goes Places. Also, your voice for the female character. So good. I'm a government agent. Come with me if you want to live. Hey, guess what? A game that I discovered while we're talking about games, Vampire Survivors. Go buy this game. It is $3 on Steam. Go buy this game. It is Castlevania Horde mode, and it is amazing. It's a run-based thing. You can get meta upgrades and stuff. There's a bunch of different characters you can unlock. It's $3, early access, ton of content, ton of replayability. I've been obsessed with it. Can't
watch
stop
our
playing
video
it.
on it. It's a treat.
I did put a video out on it. An old man.
Kill Death Zone.
There is an old man with garlic and a dove, and that is a run in our video, and it goes places. It goes places I didn't know it could go, and it was very crazy and fun. So go check that out. I think I have anything else to cover from my week, so I guess we can move on to.
I think we're done with no new business, so no new personal business.
Yeah, I think we can move on to the news, and there is a lot of it. What to do first? Let's go back to Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves Season 6 launches March 10th.
Also tomorrow. Nice.
Yeah, now you see why I spent the last week trying to grind out the last 10 levels. They're adding Spanish forts, which are going to be on-demand PvE, shorter PvE encounters. They do not send out a big beacon in the sky because there's like 6 or 8 of them or something across the entire map, and they're all, whatever. They're set up to look like the forts or the zones that they're in, that they're being pulled into from the Sea of the Damned. They're designed for you to fight through. You pull up to them. If the lights are on, you fight them. If they're not, you can use it as a PvE, like a RP base. Like you can plan out stuff. If you got a fish, there's like a big oven. You can cook like multiple things instead of one at a time. That's very cool. A lot of stuff like that. I don't know what else. There's gonna be like a cherry blossom themed ship set in the Plunder Pass this time. I think you get like almost like a spring spirit maiden outfit, like a spring spirit that like has like cherry blossoms and like a kimono that's like hot pink, which I'm like, ooh, daddy, I will wear the kimono with the mask, sir, please. I will have my mustache hanging out the side.
The kimono will fit better than most things do on your particular character's body.
I got a lot of love, and not all outfits can hold all that love. I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of things don't look good on a barrel body.
Yeah, and somehow I don't have the biggest body, but like, boy, sometimes it just don't work out right, Let's see here. Ba-da-ba-bum-bum. I think that's that for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I can't wait for all that stuff to come out, and then
so excited.
So I can cook so many things at once.
Yes, so excited. Yeah, it's like you take the base, you take the loot, you get the key from the captain, you then go to their treasury. There's apparently like a loot elevator, so you put all the loot on the elevator and then lower it down to a rowboat and then put it on the rowboat and then drive the rowboat to your boat and then drive away. Like they've
Yeah.
literally designed this to be like a, hey, we all, there's a lot of people who have kids and busy lives. I don't, because I don't like kids, but whatever. I like free time, and that's, you give that up
Your
when you have
personal
children.
opinions on children aside.
My personal opinions on children aside, I like free time more than children, so maybe I'll regret that someday, but I don't now. I'm having a blast. Don't stop me now. Maybe you've heard this before. But there is a loot elevator that allows you to put all your stuff on it and then get out, so that it's a shorter, you can be like, hey, hop on, do a fort, get out. Instead of being like, hop on, oh, we got to drive all the way to the skeleton fort. Like, there's one in your zone. There may be two in your zone. Who knows? Whatever. But that's that. And then we can jump on to Destiny 2 news. Destiny 2 has post-raid story content that has come out since the World First contest the past week, and the other 5 fragments for Void 3.0 have come out, as well as the final mission that allows you to grind up the exotic glaives for your different classes in Witch Queen. And there's supposed to be a drop rate hotfix that's supposed to be coming on Thursday. So one step that is so annoying the devs got annoyed will now be able to be fixed.
I think that's when I'll start actually trying to complete that particular quest step, is when that comes out.
I will probably do the post raid story stuff. I may get on to do that after this, while this is rendering up after I've edited it down, just to see what that story stuff is all about, because it's the calm before the storm of Sea of Thieves with new content. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Let's go see what Destiny's got. Rotating, spinning plates, or spinning those.
There's a good chance I'll probably just be playing Elden Ring.
Sure. Maybe I will pull you away from Elden Ring long enough to do that story mission, and then we will both go back to Elden Ring and see if I can beat that damn boss. Because I do want to get past that boss, but
it's been a thing, to be sure.
Ye bitch. Halo campaign, the Halo co-op campaign has been delayed.
For God's sake.
The Forge was supposed to come out. It has also been delayed. But I'm hoping that they have been internally testing that among content creators and stuff in private, so that seems closer than the co-op at this point,
which is super sad, because for me the backbone of Halo, as far as me growing up, has always been playing that game with friends.
Even
without a doubt, that's been the best part of that game.
Even growing up and playing that with you as we were young adults, we actually met because of Halo Reach. The first day we literally met was we went to a mutual friend's house. We were all hanging out because he was like, I got some friends together for some Halo. We're going to hang out and talk about the new Halo. I was like, oh, bro, that's so sick, dog. I'm coming, bro. So cool. But my voice was probably way higher. I was like, oh, sick, bro. This is amazing, dog. I'm on my way. I'm coming. Let's go. Let's hang out. Let's do it. And I get over there, and we're all just sitting there because all 4 of us bought the fucking collector's edition of Halo, and we were all just reading Halsey's journal.
Yes,
we're all
you may think that we have gotten cooler as we've gotten older, and that is not true. We are as lame as always been.
I've always been cool. Season 2 for Halo Infinite starts May 3rd, from what I've heard. So that's cool for those who like that. I'm still trying to level through the first one because I want my George armor. So
yeah. I want my co-op campaign so I can, because when you play that game and you see all the sandbox stuff, especially once you get down to the Halo, that on co-op is probably going to be so fun. And maybe that's and why it keeps getting delayed.
I literally decided that I just wasn't going to play that campaign until the co-op.
Oh, so you haven't played it at all?
Oh, I've played 10 hours of it, but I did 2 story missions. I did a bunch of open world areas, unlocked a couple of cosmetics and stuff, and then I got to the point where I was just there's a bunch of other stuff coming out, and this has always been played in co-op for me. So playing a single player just kind of feels like wine with no flavor. It's you get the tummy rumbles and the bitter, but you don't get any of the drunken feeling. So it's just it's like an O'Doul's. No one likes O'Doul's.
My opinion of delays will always be is optimistic as possible. That needs to happen.
Yes, no, absolutely. I'm not dunking on the devs. It's just I'm like, oh, that's sad, but like, hey,
yeah,
whatever.
I'm just sad about it.
Look, hey, what better time to delay anything? And to go with that, let's go into the segue of a game that got delayed. Gotham Knights just posted as of 5 hours ago. They posted a single image. It's the first time they've posted since the week before Christmas. They posted on Twitter an image that says Gotham Knights 10/25/22. So take of that what you will. Also, to segue into yet an
release date was, but wasn't it supposed to be like September or something?
It was forever ago. I don't remember, but I'm excited about that game optimistically when it comes out. Another thing that got delayed was Forspoken because, hey, Babylon's Fall got dunked on because that's another thing we can talk about. Babylon's Fall is ranked lower than Balan Wonderworld on Metacritic. That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah, Balan Wonderworld, the game most people have only seen, not played.
Yeah. And Babylon's Fall is lower than that because the entire game looks like somebody took the smudge tool and run it over it.
At this point, I just want to play Babylon's Fall out of morbid curiosity to see like what it's kind of like going to see like The Room, where it's just like you just want to see the trash fire.
Sure.
Like maybe one day, like we'll use our company money to buy Babylon's Fall and do some videos. I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. So because of that being just chewed up, and then that Stranger in Paradise or Thunder in Paradise, the Hulk Hogan Final Fantasy game, whatever it is.
Hulk Hogan.
I think there's a Final Fantasy game about a boat. I'm pretty sure the dude drives a boat, and it's a very cool boat. And
all I know is he's out to kill chaos. That's the important bit.
Yes.
If you've watched the trailer,
yes.
Chaos.
Well, that game is supposed to come out like within a couple weeks. So Babylon's Fall basically got sent out to die. Sound familiar? Sure does. But on that note of Babylon's Fall getting chewed the hell up, Square Enix has announced they are delaying Forspoken.
I mean, for me, that doesn't matter too much. I know for a lot of people, they were super excited about it.
I don't know anything about that game other than the main character looks like Bonnie from Vampire Diaries, and that's literally all I know about it. That game has such a generic name that I keep forgetting it exists.
Yeah, it's not as original as Returnal, but Forspoken is a forgettable title.
That name is also bad. Let's see. Moving on to more Square Enix news. Square Enix has created
in the news a lot today.
They are. Yes, they are. They've done a lot. And this next thing is actually quite awesome. Good on you, Square Enix, for stepping up and doing a thing that I'm going to end this segment when I mention it by saying, your move, Nintendo. Bum, bum, bum. Square Enix has created a YouTube channel called Square Enix Music, I believe, and they have added 5,500 tracks to the channel.
Wow.
Over 60 albums with different various things from like Nier Automata, other games, and you can just listen to them because they want people to listen to their games, and they want to get the money for their music, but let people listen to that music for free. It's a win-win. Why the hell would you not do it? And they're doing it, so good on them. Like,
you're talking to the guy that was super excited when the Final Fantasy VII remake soundtrack came out on Spotify.
Guess what?
I was like, hell yeah.
That's one of the ones on YouTube now.
Nice. I will. It will definitely be. Yeah. To be honest, that's just something that gets played every now and again for me, because we all have like those video game soundtracks that we'll listen to.
It's true.
Like, you know you have it. Don't lie. Everyone has it.
You want to know one of those for me?
Scott Pilgrim.
Yes, absolutely. But I was talking to somebody about this on Twitter because they actually brought it up as a song they listen to a lot. Go listen to Welcome to Ant Island from the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 Bugs Life game. That song is incredible.
That is a deep cut.
Bro, that song is incredible though. I will link it on Twitter. Go listen to that song after you hear this.
I believe you. I'm sure it's so a jam.
Good. I'm going to force you to listen to it. You don't get to escape this fate. But I'm going to play it on the podcast.
I will watch you listen to it. You will listen to it while I watch you listen to it.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
You're going to tell me about how good it is.
Here's the thing. That was a Disney game for the PS1, and that man who went in and did that, the man, I believe it was a man, I think his name, for some reason I want to say Andy. I think it's an Andy. Andy, as you were thinking of me, I'm a dead relative. I'm thinking my psychic powers are working.
Because with an A.
I'm
Andrew,
thinking an A.
Andy.
Yeah. Aardvark, octopus. Octopus doesn't start with an A. Like, yeah, anyway. That dude literally walked in there and they were like, it's kind of like the like when Grant Kirkhope with the GoldenEye soundtrack. We're doing this licensed game, let's do the thing. And Grant Kirkhope is like, check out the pause music. And it's like the biggest bop in the world. Speaking of 64 games, let's segue. I love these segues. I love knocking them off the street, just punching them out in the sand, just slap them
over
off the
and
sidewalk.
over again, just knocking them down.
It's so fun to try to link all this together. It's like 4 degrees of news.
I have to start ranking your segues.
Absolutely. Glover. You like Glover? Remember that game? I actually love Glover. I know that a lot of people are like, Glover was a trash tier game for garbage people who don't have friends. And I'm like...
Some people saw Glover as like a Super Monkey Ball knockoff, but, you know.
Pretty sure it was way before Super Monkey Ball, but like...
I thought Monkey Ball came out on the 64 as well.
That was a GameCube game.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. So if anything, Monkey Ball tried to shove the glove. That's what I'm saying.
Shove the glove. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit, sir.
Yeah, but I ran out of lives. It was not fun. I do like Glover, and I literally was making noises at him, and he was like, wow, I just got took 20 years back in time. I hate this. That is coming out to Steam on 4/20. YOLO blaze it.
You know, for the lulz, that's what we need.
It also mentions,
Glover.
I think it mentions Stone Cold Steve Austin and Scottie Pippen on the Steam page description because timely references. I guess it is because Stone Cold is actually coming back to wrestle another match this year at WrestleMania, so I guess it is technically the most timely of references.
Glover?
Yes, yeah.
The Glover Steam page?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Give me a moment. I will pull this up and find this for you.
What does Stone Cold and Scottie Pippen have to do with the Glover announcement?
Sorry, we're doing this live.
Are they characters in the game?
No.
No. Or is it just, hey, remember a time when Scottie Pippen and Stone Cold were relevant?
No, it's way better than that. You just don't understand. You're not cool. It says Glover is a puzzle-intensive adventure game made up of 6 worlds with 30 different levels. You control a charismatic glove that walks on 2 fingers, slaps harder than Steve Austin, dribbles faster than Scottie Pippen, and plays with a bouncy rubber ball.
Wow. You're right. I had no idea. That was beyond even my wildest expectations.
And it tells me that is relevant to me because I played Sonic Generations. Turns out they were right. Who knew?
You know, similar eras, I suppose.
I guess. That is wild. I will probably have to check that out at some point. Hopefully it's not too expensive. If it's like $8, I'll pick it up. If it's like $30,
our Glover first impressions.
Okay, so it will be a hands-on with. It could be a hands-on with Glover. You never know.
100%. We're gonna get our hands-on Glover.
That's the thing about hands-on. We got hands-on with the Kirby demo. It wasn't the full game, but it was a demo, and we got hands-on with it.
We're gonna love the glove.
Or if it's bad, we're gonna shove the glove.
There you go, right off the shelf.
Yeah, so look forward to Glover on 4/20 YOLO Blaze It. And linking from that, I'm getting good at this. It's so fun. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Snoop Dogg.
From a relevant age, sure.
Snoop Dogg, 4/20 Blaze It. You know, Snoop Dogg, you ever heard of him?
Yes.
Snoop Dogg has joined FaZe Clan, so now his name is FaZe Snoop, apparently, which...
I just want to know how much he's getting paid for this. I really do.
I don't know.
Does he have to live in the house?
God, I hope so. They're like, the neighbors are getting they're like posting complaints. They're like, it just smells like weed all the time. I thought this was a nice neighborhood.
What Snoop's real role is he's the guy that goes and talks to the neighbors as the only adult, because the rest of them are like children, and you get the one older guy to go like, I'm sorry, we're just making some noise. It's, me and some kids I'm watching, their parents are out of town.
He gives them a bottle of his Snoop Dogg wine, which I have drank, and it was pretty good. It wasn't terrible.
What's it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I got a bottle of the I think it was called like West Coast Rosé, but like
Snoop has
Anyway,
gone through a lot of identity changes over the years.
he sure has, from Snoop
Yeah.
Dogg to Snoop Lion to Snoop Phase. Yeah,
Is
I'm
it
sure
Snoop
that's
Phase? I thought it would be Phase
maybe it's
Snoop.
Phase Snoop, whatever. But
Or like
on
Phase
brand for
Dog doesn't
him.
exactly
Yeah, it doesn't.
do as
That's
well.
he's the bounty hunter. He'll be in soon.
We got the Snoop now. We need the dog.
Phase Dog, the bounty hunter. He's like literally just doing Twitch bounties for a living. That's all he does. He just goes and beats the hard levels because Twitch wants him to do that. It's like, you must sell 7,000 radishes in 24 hours and Stardew Valley. And he's like,
I think you're giving Dog the Bounty Hunter too many new ideas, and you might need to be like, hey, I'm going to need some money, some kickbacks for this.
Please,
give you all the content.
Please, but just put me as a producer and give me 3%. I'll be fine. That's fine. We can do that.
We can work something out.
Yeah. In other news of Snoop Dogg doing a lot of stuff, Snoop Dogg apparently bought Death Row Records and is now using it to sell 1-minute meditation NFTs, MP3 NFTs for $450 a piece. I hate everything about what I just read. I apologize.
We went from something that just kind of makes me chuckle and think it's ridiculous to something that legitimately just makes you go.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oh,
This is the shaking my head warning today.
You know what I forgot to say? As far as Square Enix music goes, your turn, Nintendo. Instead of putting 4,400 takedown strikes on somebody.
So glad we get to circle back to that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to lower the score for your segue to like a 5.
No.
Yeah.
No, I went around.
We had to circle back.
No, I went
No,
around.
we had to circle back. That's not how this goes.
I hate this.
You get 1 less gold star today, so.
Okay, well, I'll make up for it with other things I've got coming. Your turn, Nintendo, and then
you're just going to say it at the end of every news piece.
Yep, that's it.
Snoop Dogg joined FaZe Clan. Your move, Nintendo.
So that I can link back to this, we're going to get a serious moment, but also this is related to the Nintendo. The Advance Wars remake, Advance Wars Reboot Camp, has been delayed due to public events in the world right now. Due to the war in Ukraine, because some of the factions in Advance Wars may or may not be based off of certain countries that are involved in this very, very terrible things that are happening. I am a broke individual with not a whole lot to my name, so me saying my heart goes out to the people of Ukraine is all that I have to offer, and I hate that I don't have more. If you have more, please go donate
to the Red Cross.
Yes, please go donate to all of these different organizations that can help. All I have is this platform, and I will use this platform to the best of my abilities to help get the word out. And obviously there are going to be larger people, but I will do what I can, and it won't be said that I didn't do that. So if you can help, please. And just know, if you are in Ukraine and you hear this someday, just know I hope that things get better soon, and that the evil that is happening is put to rest, because it is truly just vile, and no jokes about that. I just genuinely fucking hate it, and it makes me mad.
It makes me wonder, like, what is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War doing anything?
So you're not gonna believe this, but that was actually my next segue.
Oh, there you go. You're welcome. I get an assist on that segue.
The current Call of Duty is Vanguard.
Yeah.
The best Call of Duty they've done in probably ever is Cold War. They just released a new map for Cold War, while we have a new potential Cold War in real life on the rise. Yeah. It was a remake of the WMD map, so that's a thing. So you made a joke, and it was actually real. So, oof. Yeah. Also, on that note, I have
cringe face.
I actually pulled a list of companies that are currently involved in either pulling support or telling them to go fuck themselves. In the geek, mostly gaming related area, Netflix, not in Russia right now. EA has pulled all Russian teams from FIFA, so that any Ultimate Team sales or whatever, apparently they will not get any of that. They will be punished, because a lot of those oligarchs own teams. So doing that hurts them. Microsoft has pulled. CD Projekt Red has pulled. Sony pulled Gran Turismo 7. brand new game, not in Russia. Maybe don't be a dick. What were you gonna say? That was a very pregnant inhalation.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's one of those things like I understand, and they definitely should pull support for Russia and all this type of thing. But a lot of times, a lot of these things aren't necessarily punishing the people that we want to punish. It's punishing the general population.
What it is doing,
they can't.
What it is doing is it is going to make the people who own all of the money in Russia mad because they're not making money, and it's going to make it where the people who are underneath them who would buy these things are not going to be able to buy them, and that's going to cause distress in the population, which is going to make them more vocal, which then puts more pressure on them to stop being shitholes.
Putin has been such a man of the people, is he?
I mean, like, again, no joking. There are people literally going out in the streets right now in Russia who are speaking out against this, knowing they're going to get arrested, and who knows what's going to happen once they're behind the scenes. They could, who knows? And but you want to talk about people who are literally being drug in wheelbarrows because their nuts are so big? Yeah. Those motherfuckers. And like I said, I salute every single last one of you for doing the right thing. The list continues with Apple, Ubisoft, Bloober Team, Epic Games, Activision Blizzard. So you're asking about Call of Duty.
A positive thing for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, turns out they stopped stealing breast milk from pregnant women long enough to do the right thing in Russia. So that's good. And that is...
Can't wait for that gear to change real quick.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
it definitely seems like
it's hard to get back to the lulls after that, man. Like it's such a real thing. It sucks. But boy, have I got some bangers of some news to get us back on track with some more. Don't worry, I'm bringing the levity.
Good, that's good. We need it right now. Let's bring us back. We're in a nosedive. Pull it off.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this other thing that may or may not be a nosedive. We'll see. But Atari has bought Moby Games for $1.5 million. That they finalized the sale on that. That is the Moby Games being the cataloger of video game credits and
makes you wonder, like, if Atari's going to open an actual like museum.
I don't know. I mean, they already are talking about like basically making hotels that are like Atari worlds. So who knows, man? I
would want to go to visit one of those hotels. I'm not gonna lie. If they actually built one, so I think it'd be pretty cool.
Sure. Fortnite. Here's my Fortnite minute. I've not been playing a lot of Fortnite lately, but Fortnite is always in the news. Fortnite celebrating women by giving away lots of really awesome free stuff. And also having like some promoted creators, and they've got some skins that they've done that are like some promoted like content creators and stuff. I forget her name, but it's like this tennis player that like she basically turns into like Shiva, and her glider is she pulls out a tennis racket and a tennis ball and she throws it, and when she hits it, it turns into a Nimbus cloud, and then you surf on the Nimbus cloud. And I don't really know who she is, but I kind of want to buy that because it looks cool, even though I'm not playing Fortnite right now. It just looks cool as shit to like, you're just sailing through space on that. But it is if you play Fortnite, why not log in and have some
get some free stuff?
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. There's the little heart like this. There's one of those. You do that. It's a synced emote. You do it to somebody else, and your hearts will like interact and intertwine and do whatever. Very cool. There's a wrap that is my new favorite wrap. That is it's like a Milky Way galaxy and stars and stuff, and like there's a moon shaped like a heart. There's a spray, there's a lobby music, there's a bunch of stuff. Go get it. It's great. Go support some women. Go tell a woman you love her. I do it all the time.
No, make sure that there's someone that would definitely be okay with you just going up and telling them that you love them. It's not just do not just go to the street and just go, I love you.
Tell your partner, tell your favorite stripper, tell your favorite OnlyFans, tell your secretary, tell your mom, tell your sister. There's a lot of people you can tell. Just tell a woman you appreciate her. An
appropriate woman, yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying like walk up to don't walk up to like Beatrice the witch on the street and go, I love you, Beatrice, and she's like, I'm gonna curse your whole family. You're like, I don't do that. That's bad. We make
Because in this universe, witches exist.
we have the.
This,
That's a conversation for another day. They absolutely exist. What the fuck are you talking about?
yeah, you know what I mean.
I'm pretty sure that. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get cursed, so love you, Beatrice. Whatever. I don't know who Beatrice is, but hopefully she appreciated that.
Yeah. Hopefully she's more Wiccan than witch.
We have the fates that we make, and sometimes we duel those, and that was the most heart-wrenching.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the most heart-wrenching thing ever. But I'm very excited because that new Obi-Wan trailer came out for the Disney Plus show, and it looks fucking awesome.
It looks cool, but they definitely did with the cheap shot with starting the trailer with Duel of the Fates. Like they knew what they were doing.
Oh, they absolutely did. Right. Also, it was cool to see the guy who plays Uncle Owen back. That was neat. The young Uncle Owen, that was cool. I was like, all right, sick. And then like Luke is like acting just like Anakin on top of like the little sand house, acting like he's riding a pod racer with the goggles on. And I was like,
I hope he never says, no, this is pod racing.
God, I hope he says it 5,000 times.
I don't want it. Please don't.
I hope he literally goes, punch him on the nose. It's working. It's working. I'm not going to start quoting episode 1. I'm now going to go have to play. I can't play Elden Ring with you. I now have to go play episode 1 Pod Racer on my Xbox.
That's fair.
It's a great game.
It's totally fine to play.
It's a fucking phenomenal game. Oh, I'm so glad that game's back. I love the game so much. Whoa.
Star Wars 1 Pod Racer.
I digress. It's a great game. They should do more of that. Could you?
They never made another one because they knew they already perfected it.
That's not true. They actually made another one.
Yeah, I know.
They made another one called Sebulba's Revenge.
Yeah,
they made one called Sebulba's Revenge, and it was also cool.
It just wasn't as good.
Yeah, well, you know, we can't all be the original. That new WWE game seems to be way better than all the other ones.
Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately or unfortunately, or however you want to look at it, the bar was not high.
The bar was on the floor, but the reviews for this one seem to be pretty good. It seems to be like literally where like someone clearly sat down, because there are discussions behind the scenes saying that EA is in discussions for picking up that license if WWE 2K22 does not do well. So it makes me wonder if they literally like sat down and after the buggy, glitchy Nightmare Factory that was the last game that they took off 2 years for, it literally makes me wonder if they had a guy sit down that literally walked in with a briefcase, sat down, crossed his hands, literally like tucked in a thing, had a bib on, literally like took his sunglasses off, sat it down, did all this stuff really, really extravagantly because he doesn't talk to anybody until it's very, very serious. And then he sits down, steeples his hands, looks at him and goes, if I see another montage for this new game of bugs happening, I'm burning down all your houses because
that's how much money you're costing me.
Yeah, because like I can get more of you. But this license, though, like it definitely seems like they might have actually done something good, which makes me kind of want to. I'm not gonna lie, it makes me kind of. I love these games, but they've been terrible for the past. Last one I bought was 2016 because I played demos and other.
2016 may have been the last real good one.
Yeah, it wasn't great then, but it was fun. I think that was one with the Terminator in it. That was the Stone Cold edition one, but
it also had the best character creator of any of those games. You could make such monstrosities in 2K16.
It's true.
And it was awesome.
People are actually making full-blown people that exist in this new one. Like people are like putting like CM Punk in this game, and like people that work are like on other brands and stuch in that creator. So like it seems pretty seems pretty neat. That's exciting to me. I might have to I kind of want to wait for a sale, but I kind of want to bite the bullet on it while it's like the iron's hot. Could you imagine, hey, let me spitball this right here in this podcast. What if
this is the appropriate place?
It is because everybody can, hear this, but what if
yeah, feel free to weigh in as well.
Hear me out. What if we got that? We got we went through the character creator, we found some people, we made some of our own, but we went through there because everyone's going to make like Sans from like Undertale and a bunch of dumb crap. And then we made videos where we were like the JR and the Jerry the King Lawlers calling these Royal Rumble matches of these
Do some
actual nightmare scenarios of like
do some
ridiculous
shout casting for
yes,
for WWE matches.
that could be so fun. That could be so fun.
I would be against it.
That sounds like such fun to me. Like I literally have been thinking about this and ruminating on it all day. I'm just like, ooh,
At some point, one of us would have to go, "Oh my God, he killed him!"
Oh, if you think I'm not gonna, okay. So here's the thing: am I gonna be Jerry the King Lawler and talk about puppies all the time, or am I gonna be JR and go, "By God, he broke him in half"? Okay, I don't know why. Like, which one am I gonna be? Which one are you gonna be? Because whichever one I'm not, you have to be the other.
I suppose, yeah. We can't both be. We can't both be one.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way. We need the dichotomy.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I'm probably the boob guy. It's fine. I understand. I Speaking of boob guy. Shout out to boobs. Thank you for your service.
Sure, yes. Shout out to boobs.
There is a
on the heels of National Women's Day. Shout out to boobs.
You ask any woman, a woman's also going to shout out boobs. So that seems like a universally loved thing. You're welcome.
That's true. All right.
You know. Oh, I am right. I'm right. I'm not wrong. I'm right. Thank you. But this has nothing to do with that. I just wanted to use that segue because it was stupid.
Yeah, why not?
So Kotaku posted an article, and I just want to talk about it because it is the funniest damn thing I've seen in the news all week. I saved this one because it's so good. So I forget the name. I think their name was like Jube or something like that. But they made a mod for Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PC.
Okay, yeah.
And they made a version of Cloud where he has a leather jacket and a midriff shirt. Or they, her. I'm not sure. Jube sounds like a dude to me. Maybe, whatever. But excuse me. Anyway, we'll go with they. They made this mod. Has Cloud with the leather jacket and a midriff shirt. And all of the responses were, can we get this without the midriff? Can we get this without can we cover his belly? Maybe not have that. It looks perfect except for the shirt's wrong. It's too small. It needs to be covering the belly. Can we cover his belly? And like, it's just tons and 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 tons of comments about the belly.
Sure.
So,
because they're intimidated by Cloud's magnificent washboard abs.
Yes, they probably are because they don't have those, and neither do I. But I appreciate them. It's fine. It's great.
Yeah. It's fine if you look like you could grind meat on those things. But,
sure. Yeah, I just want to tenderize meat on it. Just like rub steaks on it. It's fine. And then go to Italian Senate with Tifa. It's great. We're covering all the bases.
Absolutely.
God, I've got a headache. I'm getting lightheaded from laughing so hard. Hold on a moment. Oh boy. GTA Online. After the show has been completely derailed, GTA
100%.
Online. I apologize. That's on me. GTA Online next gen version coming. GTA 5 also coming with that. Apparently that is going to be it will be $40 for GTA 5, the story and the game, and it will be $20 for just GTA Online. But if you purchase it within the next 5 days, it is only $20 for the full game, and it is $10 for just online. And having played the story and never wanting to play the story ever again, I will be buying the $10 version and nothing else, because I only want the online, because they're doing the thing that they've done before where they cut off the support, right? Like, they're doing the thing where they're like, you have to transfer to a whole nother database. It's not the same database. And then
you have to wait an extra day to transfer a character.
Yeah, I think that's what it said. Is right now you can log onto the Rockstar network and you can upload your story mode saves can be transitioned over if you're going to use those. But your online character, I think it said you have to wait till the 15th, and I believe that the game comes out at like 9 p.m. on the 14th, so it'll come out technically the 15th, whatever. So I will be doing that, and we'll probably be checking that out because that's I'm very interested in seeing how well that runs. So I need to download before we get to that. I need to download
an awful character model in that kind of graphics.
Yeah, I mean, mine just looks like me. Literally, I think I'm literally wearing this shirt in the game. But that's one of those games that's very zen to me. Like
Sure.
it's not very zen until you get businesses. But once you get businesses, some of those newer businesses are very solo friendly and they're very private lobby friendly. So it's been nice. Doing the Dr. Dre stuff and the Franklin stuff has been very fun. There's an entire story mode in online that's Franklin and Lamar that you have to have 2 people to play that I have not played yet. We could maybe play that at some point. That could be fun.
Maybe.
But that is finally, I finally butchered through all of my news on both pages.
Just a time for you to have an aneurysm.
Yeah. I don't even want to joke about that. The pain has subsided, whatever that was. Maybe I pinched a nerve or got too lightheaded because something constricted or something like a. I found out that a brain freeze is where apparently it's pain caused by blood vessels that constrict here, causing pain because it gets too cold and it's trying to constrict and heat up to keep your brain from dying or some shit like that. And it's like, what? Because there's like a cluster of like 3 large clusters of nerves right here. They're all connected and they go hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And that's what causes you to be shitty. I also found out that apparently a lot of people just don't get them, which, like, fuck you guys. I get them really bad. I know they say a lot of people who get brain freezes get migraines. I don't get migraines, but I get brain freezes. Brain freezes will fucking obliterate me.
I don't get brain freezes very often. I have gotten them, but as I've gotten older, I get them less and less.
I really love Luigi's. I love Luigi's Italian Ice. Please sponsor us at Luigi's Italian Ice. I'm giving you this one for free because I love you. I love those things. If I eat 1 spoonful too fast, I'm fucked up for 5 minutes.
Sure.
If I literally put it in my mouth and swallow it, it's just going to be so cold right here that I'm like a cat with ham on my head. I'm just like completely just ruins my day. I'm just like, wow, delicious, tasty frozen treat. Ooh, this is miserable. I hate this. Yeah.
Well, I hope this current thing was just a one-time thing and nothing to worry about. I don't need to go see anybody. No doctors, just, a little pain. It's fine.
Yeah, hope so. I mean, I check my blood pressure regularly because I'm paranoid about that stuff, and it's, it's barely above what they consider normal. So, it's not perfect. I'm not a spring chicken, but I'm also not like I'm not like currently in a cardiac emergency. So,
it's not too late to get healthy, people.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, let me tell you, if you have a Switch, get Ring Fit Adventure. You'll thank me later.
You won't thank him for like the first couple weeks.
No,
you'll be cursing his.
I actually need to get back into playing that because it is such an effective workout. It is an incredible workout. It is an incredible workout. When the game asks you how in shape you are, tell them you are a baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I told them that I was moderately healthy and I thought I was going to die. They're like, all right, do 30 squats. I'm like, to beat one enemy? They're like, yeah, do it. I'm like,
this is not what my legs were built for. You stop it right now.
They're like, all right, there's 4 enemies in this fight. You got to do 30 rowboats, 25 squats. You got to do arm flingles and turn twists. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead.
For the first few days after I did the Ring Fit Adventure, I was Limpy Joe for a little while. Again.
Me too.
Yeah, I got to be. It had been a while since I got to be Limpy Joe, but I was Limpy Joe. Unfortunately.
Just a heads up, just to anybody who ever hears something go thunk randomly in a video, I'm gonna reveal a little bit of the behind the scenes. I have this bottle of sake that I just roll around as like a thing it's like a fidget toy that I keep in the floor.
The bottle of sake.
You can't even read the bottle of sake brand anymore because it's so faded. But I literally just keep it in the floor and I just roll it with one foot. So if you ever hear it get out of control and you just hear it go gunk, it's me. It's a bottle of sake. It's fine. I didn't break anything. It's just this bottle. But that's like, yeah, if you ever, because like I'm sitting here, I'm like, but my feet are going crazy down here, but you have no idea. And it helps with the fidgeting because otherwise I'm like grabbing pins and bouncing them and stuff. And so that's the thing I came up with to keep that.
Yeah. We need to get you one
under
of those like
control.
fidget toys, not a fidget spinner, but like one of the toys that's got
Oh,
all the
like the
different sensory
cubes and
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sake bottle's working pretty good.
Except when it thunks onto your desk.
Well, if I drop the cube, it's gonna thunk too. So
Would you try throwing the cube? I think if you have that cube in your head and just randomly drop it, something was wrong.
yeah, I'm human. It's a condition. It's terrible.
Sure.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that was crazy. Getting lightheaded. The pain's gone. I'm fine now, but that was very scary for a moment there.
Yeah.
Not trying to catalog that on a recording, but hey, here we are. I don't need any like people in the comments telling me like you got you're Ron Weasley brain. You're gonna die. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your head hurts. You have prostate cancer, sir.
Yeah. Ooh, wonderful.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Your butt hurts. It's a sinus infection. Like, fucking get away from me.
I hate to be WebMD, but it looks like it's pretty serious.
I also hate to be WebMD.
Probably gonna die.
Trying to quit being WebMD. That's the news. We still have a little bit of time. We can actually move on. I didn't think we were going to be able to move on, but we kind of flew through that news a little faster than I thought we were going to. We can talk about today's subject. And we're back. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties are what they are, and we have returned to do the segment that we mentioned before.
Yeah.
And I have recovered from my coughing, laughing fit, making me lightheaded.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Lovely.
We've had time to recover from all of our maladies and technical difficulties.
Correct. So if you would like to go into what today's discussion topic is, we will begin.
Yeah, I guess basically can a game reach a point of no return to where it can no longer be fixed or saved?
Right.
Because we were talking about it last night. We were talking about the state of that WoW's currently in. Because I know you and I have both been playing. I started playing WoW seriously when Cataclysm came out, and you had been playing long before that. And we played probably a lot of people for the last couple expansions. We kind of just dropped off after that. And it definitely seems like that every time I hear a piece of WoW news, it's usually not positive. It's like another streamer's leaving and going to play usually Final Fantasy 14, which we've both played a bunch, or what's it called, Lost Ark or
Lost
New
Ark
World.
seems to be the new hotness is Lost Ark, and like New World seems to have its people who like it. I've not played it. It didn't look fun to me, but people seem to love it. It seems like 3D RuneScape. Like people are just running around slapping trees for hours and then turning it into the town and going, I did a thing. And it's like, okay, well, all right, man. If you like that, you like it.
And like, what is it? What's the Square Enix game? Bastion's Fall or something like that?
Babylon's Fall.
Babylon's Fall. Sorry. Yeah. Like, can these games come back? Like, or, it's not that Overwatch is failing, but it definitely seems like there's been a huge drop off of that, especially since Blizzard said that they're not doing any more new content until Overwatch 2.
It's because they literally did this thing where they were like, hey, we're going to stop doing updates so we can put it on Overwatch 2. But all the stuff in Overwatch 2 is coming to Overwatch 1 except for the PvE mode. So all these heroes that we could be releasing and keeping the game going and keeping building hype for Overwatch 2, it's like, oh, Overwatch 2 is coming out. They're just like saving all of it, which is insane to me, because that game has been in this weird dormant state for like 2 years now, where the only thing they do is add more Skinner boxes, more skins, and more like weekly challenges. And the weekly challenges once a month are like, play 21 games of Overwatch to get these cool skins. And they're cool skins, but they should probably be earnable after those events are over for like coins and stuff, because like some of them are very cool, and most of the player base is not playing Overwatch right now. It's just not. No. They've added crossplay, and that's a really smart thing, because God, I'd hate to be a player on the Switch trying to find a match with other Switch players.
Yeah.
So,
but I guess the question is like, because you also see the comeback stories. Your No Man's Sky, again, Final Fantasy 14 was a travesty when it first came out, and then they basically rebooted it, and it's become one of the most successful MMOs to date.
I would say the most successful MMO. Like Final Fantasy 14 it was selling so well, and the population was so out of control, they had to take it off the market. They were like, sorry, turn away your wheelbarrows of money. We can't take you right now. Come back later. They turned off the free trials. They turned off everything, and we're just like, we're just going to keep everyone here who's here. And I'll tell you, when Endwalker started and I went to go log into my server, I was like, I don't know, I think it was like 4 or 5,000th in line behind everyone else in my data shard. I was just like, I'm going to bed. I'm not playing this. So,
so the question needs to be asked, like, can a game go past a point of no return to where it just fails and dies?
I think so.
I mean, because we've seen, I mean, of course, it's video games. Like, we've seen stuff, go away eventually. A big one, like, you want to talk about what WoW killed EverQuest? Because I remember a lot of people used to play that when I was super young.
I
And
think
then WoW
EverQuest
came out.
is still around. Like, there are people who are still playing it. I'm pretty
Is
sure.
it? I thought EverQuest shut down, but I could be wrong.
I
Because I know they.
think it's still around. I think it was one of those things where they're like, we're so old, we have to stay around. I could be wrong, but I think if EverQuest 1 is shut down, the EverQuest 2 is still going.
Yeah.
And then there was like, was it Age of Camelot? Is that still around?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Because I remember like a while back, people came out with like numbers for EverQuest, and it was like a few 100,000 maybe.
Right.
But it's just one of those things, like can WoW like pull out of the nosedive, and will we live in a world where it's not necessarily that WoW has evolved, but WoW has literally gone away? Because stuff like Babylon's Fall and stuff like that, that's kind of one-off stuff, and that can just have its time or not have its time, and then everyone forgets about it in a few months.
It's already no, that is a service. That is an ongoing game.
Oh,
it has season passes. It has microtransactions. That is a platform game. That is a game that is meant to be ongoing. That is a game that is meant to be like a Destiny-like. It's a Lost Ark. Yeah. It's that kind of thing where they have seasons, which means it's not like, what was that game? I've forgotten the name. You're an immortal dude on another planet that you have terraformed with a song or something.
That's
we played the demo of it. We didn't play the actual game because the game was buggy and it kept deleting everybody's characters.
I got none for you, man. We've played a lot. We've experimented with a lot of games.
Yes, we have. What is the name of that? It's the game? Remember? Okay, so there's like the sniper class. There's like the wood. There's like the stone class turn into fire. There's like the one that can blink around. It's like a Destiny like, but it's like a Gears of War hide and cover shooter.
Outland, not Outriders.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, of course. I was thinking of Outlast, Outlaws, out Overwatch.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of different outs.
Yes, and then correct.
I finally got it. Same. I mean, that game's not dead. That's still being supported. People are still playing it.
But when it came out, they said we are only going. There's going to be no ongoing content. This is going to be this game. It is going to be what it is, and it's going to go.
That's true.
And then they were like, people seem to like this, and so I guess they just started releasing DLC for it, and so there it went. Babylon's Fall
that's
is
a whole
doing
other
that.
That's a whole other different thing. That's something that people like found out that they were surprised that people liked, and they're like, well, I guess we could start putting out some more content for this thing.
Right.
Not so much like the opposite of like, if it had come out and everyone's like, this is a trash fire and I don't want anything to do with it, then they probably wouldn't have come out with stuff.
Right.
Maybe they would. I don't know what their whole plan was.
Right. But that was my point. It was that they came out and were just like, this is a one and done thing. You would think that a game like Babylon's Fall would be like a Diablo thing, right? Where it's just like, all right, it's go. But then even Diablo seems to have seasons now. So like,
yeah, they've had seasons for a while.
Right. Correct. And the Paragon levels and the whole thing. But I'm not building a seasonal character and then deleting them. That sounds fucking terrible. I do not like Diablo that much. I did not ever finish Reaper of Souls or whatever it was. I never finished that expansion.
And I guess that's probably just not for you.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm like, Lost Ark is a Diablo MMO? That sounds fucking terrible. I hate that idea.
But yeah, it just makes me wonder, like, because it's like we're saying, like, so many games now, like every game it seems, well, not every game, but a lot of games now, it seems like they come out and the company wants it to be a game as service game. And because that makes all the money nowadays,
right,
is to keep people coming back.
And I like games as a service. Most of the games that I mentioned, I like. However, you have to, and this will be another subject for another day, but there is a difference in, you have to respect people's time with your games as a service. Sea of Thieves does a good job of that. Fortnite does a good job of that. That's a whole other subject. We'll talk about that on a different episode. But it's just a thing that I hate, where people are like, here's $10 and it's going to require months for you to like get halfway through the thing. So if you're not playing every single day, if you're not mashing that button every single day, logging in, doing all your dailies, then you're fucked. I hate that.
But should games be, I don't know if necessarily it's the best way to phrase it, but should games be allowed to die? Because like, I
feel like
I
there's
want.
probably a lot of class action lawsuits that will come out of that. Like, you said you were supporting a thing and it's still popular and you killed it, and so they're probably afraid of that.
Yeah.
But also, if they've already done the work, they're probably like, well, we'll just milk it until it's dead.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of wondering like what some of like these games would have to do to come out of their particular spirals. WoW being the most recent, the biggest one.
I think
Um,
that WoW is going to be in a good situation when Microsoft finalizes that deal, because I feel like there is no way in hell that Microsoft doesn't look at Final Fantasy XIV and go, wow, the console version of that is actually really, really successful. We should do that on Xbox.
so you're saying that do you think WoW will or needs like a Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn or a No Man's Sky type of overhaul where they kind of just like stop cranking out content for a while and then just like it's a whole new game that basically comes out?
No,
You don't think that would help?
no. I don't think. I think the game needs to, because here's the thing, they have WoW used to be the way that Final Fantasy 14 is. The classes used to all have unique identity, like class identity was very important. And now every single class plays exactly the same. It is all homogenized, roll your face across the buttons. It is impossible not to hit your rotation in WoW now. In Final Fantasy 14, you have to actually figure out what you have to go. I have had to pull up guides. Like, I used to use Icy Vein to figure out what my like spec should be on WoW, and now I'm using it for Final Fantasy 14 as I'm leveling up, going, how do I use this move? What do I do? What are these interactions? Because you do actually have to know those things, but in WoW you can literally just go on the keyboard and everything's dead and it doesn't matter. Like, oh, you just threw a bunch of hammers as a paladin or smashed them or whatever. Holy magic, holy magic, holy magic. It doesn't matter. Like, all these things used to have identity. Like, you used to have to go out and you had like, the only thing that seems to have an identity anymore is like the WoW hunter pets. Like, that you still have a stable, and that each one of those I'm surprised they all still have unique abilities, if I'm being honest. I'm surprised they weren't just like, this is this, because you used to have to actually spec your pets. They used to have spec trees. You had to pick
Yeah.
a spec for them, and it was like it used to be like, oh, this one's a tank, this is whatever. But then it was like, oh, you can choose what thing they are, and then they took that away to where you can't have like an aggressive turtle or like a tank parrot. And then it was like, all right, now it's just like a cunning bird. Like, all birds are cunning,
Right.
all turtles are tanks. They all just have those. So where it just takes all of that out of it. And it originally in WoW, you used to have to feed your pets. You had to bond with them. Their stats went up as you bonded with them. So you actually look at it, they still have it in the game, but it's useless. But it tells you what the appetite for your pet is when you summon it, and you would have to feed it that kind of stuff. And you would see like a red mark next to their name, a red smiley face, or a frowny face, a yellow like and then like a green smiley face, and their stats would actually, and their battle aptitude would go up as they liked you more. So that was like a really cool thing just for hunters that no one else ever fucking worried about. That's gone. That is not a thing. You can still feed them for RP purposes and be like, I fed Snap Jaw and Jum Jum, and it's like, okay, great, whatever. But like, it doesn't do anything anymore. Also, apparently, the light of God has arrived.
Yeah, I don't. I didn't expect the sun's
It's
position to really
It's fine.
like suddenly like just
It's
be
fine.
here.
It's fine. God is you're pulling a Yahtzee Croshaw right now. You're just like
Yeah.
beaming in the sun.
Unfortunately, our technical difficulties
It did
took
delay
some
us
time to
where,
figure out.
yeah,
So
it's not
our
a big
the
deal.
lighting has
It's fine
decided to
for audio listeners. It's not gonna be a big deal, and for
just like I'm a golden god over here
just,
now.
Just do the RKO pose and then just.
but, but for me, it's like you talk about like what basically what you're saying. It seems like is they need to roll some stuff back.
Yeah, they need to
but
unsimplify things, because WoW is
the
too
problem
simple.
is they've kind of shot themselves in the foot with WoW Classic, because now they're like, well, if you want that stuff, go play WoW Classic, which I guess is now approaching Lich King, which I don't know what the plan is here. Is they're just going to like meet in the middle?
Apparently they're just going to keep. I think they're just going to. I think they literally have. Don't they literally have servers for every expansion? Like, I'm not sure, because I played it for 5 minutes and went, I hate this. I played this once and it was fine. But like,
I played a little bit when they were doing the Burning Crusade.
The quality of life stuff is nice in retail to the point that I would never want to go back. Plus, I don't want to restart my character that I've been playing for 20 years. That sounds dumb. What are you doing? But like, do they still have servers for vanilla, and then they opened servers for Burning Crusade, and then they opened servers for Lich King? Or is
I
it
don't
that
think Lich
servers,
King's out yet. But
or is it that servers started at vanilla and they're rolling them through the ages?
it's it's rolling. If as far as I know, they're rolling them through the ages. Like when you go in, it's like Burning Crusade instead of it just saying like WoW Classic now.
That sounds terrible. I
Well,
mean, that's cool
man,
for people who haven't got to see it. I get it. You weren't there like I was to see all this shit the first time. I understand. But
well,
like,
for me, it's not. But it also like once they get to Lich King, or if they get to Cataclysm, I guess it'll kind of be in the spot where you want it. And like, does that mean that you'll start playing WoW again? Because it's
no,
like
because it's not WoW. It's basically like using the Wayback Machine to play WoW. You're not playing
yeah,
WoW, you're playing WoW. Like you're basically playing like a glimpse of what was, but you're not playing what it was.
yeah,
I don't have those same friends that I had that many
that's
years
true.
ago. I'm not in
Yeah,
that guild. I'm not a new player. I will literally just be like, ah, yes, Old War. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm done. Fuck this. I'm bored. Like, I'm not going to be like, like now you run Old War and it's one difficulty and you get all the loot. It's a way better experience because you just run through
yeah.
it by yourself. You're like, la, 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 la. Not going to get Memoron's head, but I'm going to run it any fucking way. And so, like, but like as a class in WoW, like it used to be, you had, like I said, you had different identities. Like there was and that may still be a thing, the Defius Brotherhood, where you can like pickpocket things from people and go take them to this like certain vendor out in Hillsbrad, and then you're like, here, I turned this in, and they're like, oh yes, thank you, here's some rep with us. And only rogues get that faction, and only rogues can level up with them, and you get stuff for doing that. And like there's stuff like that I thought was going to happen when they did not that this should become the WoW episode, but I have a lot to say over many years about WoW. But
it's
when
one of those
they
things
did,
like that's the biggest topic right now as far as
right,
games that are kind of in a nosedive.
so
And I'm providing other examples. Not
right,
that I think Babylon's is it Babylon's Fall, right?
Babylon's Fall, yes,
Necessarily is on I mean, it's on a lot of people's radar, I think, because of
of
how
how
bad
bad
it
it
is,
is, yeah,
apparently.
correct.
Um, and maybe at some point I'll bite the bullet and like get that game just so we can see and like
Oof.
actually try to like see for ourselves, because I've watched videos on it and stuff. But watching a video on something and playing it can be
It
two different
it
experiences.
makes me sad because it looks like Raiden's Tower mixed with, I believe that was the PSP game, Raiden's Tower, where you were the robot that like killed people and took parts off of them and then kept. It was like the first roguelike I ever played.
Yeah.
That I can recall. It was like you played as a robot and you would kill like angel robots as you went through this tower to like get out of hell, I think, or something like that, or the place in between heaven and hell. What is it called? Not Earth. The like purgatory. You're like trying to get out of purgatory by beating these things. Hadn't thought about that game in years, but it looks like that mixed with like a Monster Hunter hub world. Which like when I saw that, I was like, oh, is this a Monster Hunter thing? Like this looks neat. And then I watched them play it, and it was just like, oh, this looks like Dark Alliance. That's not good. It's not good that it looks like Dark Alliance. And I've heard people say the Dark Alliance is more fun, and that scares me more because I wanted to like Dark Alliance, but that game is bad. It's not a good game.
Sure.
I love jurists more than a lot of people do, but boy, that's not good.
Yeah.
But I thought that the class identity was going to come back in WoW whenever they did the class halls and they were doing all these they were doing these storylines. What they were doing was they were basically trying to do a mini version of what Final Fantasy XIV does, where every single class has their own quest line, their own characters, their own identity, their own everything. You earn quests, you have your own gear sets, you have all this stuff. And WoW was like, what if we did that for one expansion and we gave you these 3 legendary weapons, and then at the end of the expansion we took them all away? Wouldn't that be cool if we added this entire really cool concept for one expansion and then we yanked it out and it was gone forever? And then they did the same thing with the strongholds in Warlords of Draenor. They were like, hey,
They did do that, where you had all a base building thing.
You build your own homestead. You have your own castle, your own people. You get to pick the buildings, pick the placement of the buildings, you want a mine? Build a mine. You want an herbology place? Do herbalism. That's wonderful. Okay, great. You're doing all this stuff. It's so cool. You want a barn to raise mountains and stuff so you can have more mountains? That's a cool thing. Go do that, man. That's great. All right, awesome. And then they were like, hey, we're just going to leave that in the past timeline. It's fine. Those people are just going to be there forever, and fuck them, I guess. I don't know, whatever. Not my problem. And that is like, they don't... they like to play with things and then put them down and go, okay, well, people are bored of that, I guess. And it's like, no, we're not bored of that. We want you need to now do that in everything. You can't just do that and leave it. You have to do that going forward.
Yeah, well, to the legendary weapon, the class hall stuff, because you talk about like Final Fantasy 14 compared to like its class identities with other stuff. What I wanted to WoW to have, and that's the thing that's really homogenized it for me, is specialization doesn't really matter anymore, and especially in World of Warcraft. And Final Fantasy 14 doesn't even do that.
Doesn't have to,
Not
because
really.
every class is insane by itself. Like you
Yeah.
just play that and it's its own thing.
But I always appreciated like me and another mage uh initially would be three differently played characters depending on your
Right.
specialization, like fire, ice, or frost, and then like the arcane, like those were, and then like hunter, like all that stuff played very differently, and you had all kinds of stuff that you could do with it. And then the class all things, when they did the legendary weapons, was kind of them going back to it a little bit. And then you were talking about like that they immediately were like, all right, that was cool, huh? Yeah, you liked it, right? Just going away. Shoot, go away.
They used it as a story point where they said, and now we drain all the energy from those and we turn off those systems. You can no longer unlock those achievements or styles, and it's all just a dead system. And now when you get to that point in the game, we now just scale your weapon up for you because we've created this problem that we've now had to create a solution for. So they now do that, and then like when you're going through the building the homestead thing, they now just give you a ton of stockpile stuff as you're leveling through to give you that. So basically, every single item that was supposed to level up your artifact doesn't do that anymore, and your artifact just levels up as you level up. It just scales with you, and now all you get is gold quest rewards. It's just broken gray items that say, this used to do a thing, but now it's just worth 300 gold, and then you just go sell that. And so if you want to make money, go play through Legion, you'll get a ton of gold, but also you'll probably get the same amount of money from that. But also, why are you playing WoW? Go play Final Fantasy 14. What the fuck is your problem? That game is so good.
I don't know.
I played WoW for 4 billion years, and even
it's true,
I am
and
like,
there's obviously something people still like about it. I haven't. I'm not really that person anymore, but I know, and it could just be a time thing. Like people, I've invested 15 years in a thing, and they're like, well, I don't want to let all this go because why would I? I've spent, this has basically been, if you've been doing something for 15 years, it's a part of your life, and and that's hard to let go.
Guess what? I did that. Was it hard to let go? Yes. But you know what? I don't miss it at all. Not even a little bit. I am sad my heart weeps for the days that are past, those Elysian nights of playing WoW. I miss those days, but I also know those days are fucking dead. Will I go back to WoW? If they make it a good game again, I will. But right now, that last fucking cinematic is basically hammering nails into a coffin.
Well, that kind of brings me to like my original and possibly last point of like, what is it do you think that they could do to, and you could, because a lot of times you can think about what they could do and what they actually do are a lot of times completely different. But maybe they'll listen to the community about what they can do. But as for like me specifically, it has to do with like, you kind of like what you touched on, where like I want to feel different depending on what I'm playing. I don't want, and also to a story standpoint, I want to feel like it's building to something that's interesting. Because for me, Shadowlands had like some of the most lackluster factions I've ever seen in a video game. It had
some of the coolest scenes, some of the best music. I loved Revendreth. I loved the Druid place. I loved so many of those zones. I did not like the place that had Uther. I did not like the Angel place, the starter zone. I thought that place was so boring. Bastion, I thought it was the most boring place. It was just blue and wheat. It was just wheat fields everywhere and just blue people. And I was like, cool, it's Avatar, but in Kentucky. I hate this. Take me out of here.
Yeah. For me, it was just, I just didn't feel like I need to feel like what I'm building toward is interesting and cool, and I didn't feel like that. So for me, that would be a big thing. And also I would like for them to go back and make specializations matter again, and not necessarily in the fact of DPS. I don't care. That's never been me. I'm not top tier DPS.
I know a lot of people who play Dancer in Final Fantasy 14 because they love it, but Final Fantasy 14, like, Dancer is like lowest DPS, but it does a lot of buffs and stuff like Bard, and people are just like, I don't care, I'm having fun twirling around the battlefield killing shit with chakrams, and you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, that's kind of the two main things that they would need to change to like try to at least try to draw me back in. And odds are, if I saw something like that, I would at least give it a month.
The problem that I have, and what I think, and now I'm going to mention some things that may make you go, yeah, okay. Final Fantasy 14 has more than just PC. It has it had the PS3, it has the PS4, and I think the PS4 at the end of Endwalker, I think PS4 is not going to be supported anymore. I think is what they said. I think PS. Well, I mean, you got to edge it out because they're doing the thing in Final Fantasy 14 where you remember how in WoW they've eventually updated all the character models and stuff.
Yeah,
they're going to do that in Final Fantasy 14 finally. Final Fantasy 14 still looks incredible, but it also does look like a game that was made for the PS3. But it does still look good. It's still a good looking game. Because they've done good work within that stuff. But the last open letter they showed that they were working on that, and they've already got tests for that out, and that'll be coming at some point. And it's like, yay, wonderful! You'll make a good game better. But I think that WoW should open up to consoles. I'm not saying it should be on PlayStation. It could, like Overwatch, it could be everywhere and be owned by Microsoft. That would be fine. But
I just don't know if you could play WoW on a controller.
I think. Dude, you could play Final Fantasy 14 on a controller, and
That's
WoW
true.
has less buttons than Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 has way more complicated rotations than WoW does, and I know several people that I play Final Fantasy 14 with who play on controllers.
You're looking at one.
Correct.
I guess I'm thinking of like older WoW. You couldn't play on a controller, but I guess like now,
right? But if you're playing Final Fantasy 14 on one, you can definitely play WoW because WoW has WoW is just like. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, you won. Good job. But I also think that something that could spike their numbers, other than having access to more people, is if Microsoft owns that, if they gave every person who has Game Pass a WoW subscription, that would do gangbusters for that game. That would be a just shot in the ass for that community. Like you put it on Xbox, you give everybody a game that has a Game Pass subscription. WoW, like because at that point, like if your numbers are below 1 million, what does it matter if you're giving away the game at that point? If it brings more people back and they start buying your expansions, that's more money put back in. That's infusing your stuff, and then they're buying mounts from the shop. They're buying the dumb coins, and they're buying all this other stuff. They're and then it is what it is. Because if Microsoft owns it, they're getting Game Pass money. So if you're paying $15 for Game Pass and they're giving you WoW, you're still getting $15 a month from them. It's just for a different thing, and I think that is something they might want to look into because I think WoW has the potential, but with this last storyline, they really. It in the leading up to Shadowlands, they were like, "Hey, Arthas is going to be a huge part of this. Uther's going to be a huge part of this." They made an entire.
There's a lot of cool theorizing going on about what was going to go.
They made an entire but they made an entire cinematic showing Uther taking Arthas's soul. Before he went to be judged, the train is coming because it's mad. The train is mad. Just the space fuck.
The train needed a way in.
Yeah. And they were like, yeah, Uther's going to get Arthas. He's going to be a big part of this whole thing. And you're like, oh, wow, crazy. And then the way they did it, I'm not going to spoil, but it fucking sucks and it makes me mad. But they also showed in Revendreth that entire city is run off of Garrosh's hatred and torture. They literally show Garrosh. They're like, we have our old reliables to fall back upon, but we do need more energy sources. And it's like Garrosh literally going, I'm in hell! And it like literally like turns all the lights back on when they like prod him with a stick. Like it's like there's so much cool stuff they were going to talk about and do, and they didn't do any of it. And then they built up this one dude, and they were like, this guy's the most badass villain that has ever existed in all of WoW. Did you know every single thing that you like about WoW was all because of him? He's literally the linchpin that makes all of it happen. And you're like, but this guy's he's literally gray. He's literally milk colored. He sucks. And then they're like, all right, cool.
He's got some blue in there.
We're gonna make him cool. And then when he dies, he literally turns into an automaton doll. that's not even a real person. He literally turns into a bot doll thing. And then they're like, whatever, man, he sucks. It's not even a spoiler. He just sucks that much. It doesn't fucking matter. He's garbage. The jailer is terrible. Fuck that guy. He's not good. But the fact that they literally were like, Sargeras, the Burning Legion, the Horde, everything, all this stuff, the Time Portal, fucking Ner'zhul, Arthas, Lich King, Illidan, all of it, every single thing was all because of this guy, and he's a fucking doll for somebody else. Literally a puppet that somebody else is controlling, and he's like, I'm trying to kill everybody because shit's stupid. And you're like, it is stupid. You are correct, sir. So... I don't know who this next person is, but they better be the coolest person ever, or the 10 people who are still playing WoW are going to unsubscribe.
I feel like a lot of people aren't playing WoW for the lore at this point.
But that's one of the things that I play, because I don't think the game is fun to play. I played it for the story. It got homogenized, but I was like, boy, the story sure was cool, because they did some cool stuff in like War for Azeroth. They did some neat things in that storyline. I know a lot of people hated that expansion. They did some really neat stuff at times in there. There was a lot of people almost dying, and I think the King of the Gnomes almost got killed and ended up becoming the WoW version of Iron Man, where he has a mecha heart now, which is like... there was some cool character conflicts and character moments. And even in Shadowlands, I never finished the story because I couldn't get through it. I was that guy that got too bored to finish. Yeah, I got to Revendreth and stopped playing for like 6 months, and then I came back and did it. It was like, oh, that was neat. And then I got to the end game thing and was like, I hate this.
But for me, it's just like a lot of that type of stuff needs to change in the next expansion. And I don't think that it will go through the kind of change that it needs to really give it that shot in the arm.
It needs to bake in the oven for a long time and really, really reflect and get some things correct. And I don't think they're going to do it. And that's unfortunate, but like I said,
with everything that's going on with Activision Blizzard, especially, I think that
they need to get it right.
Yeah. I feel like Overwatch 2, Diablo 4, and whatever new WoW expansion comes out needs to just be like some of the best things they've put out.
Did that Diablo mobile game for You Guys All Have Phones ever come out?
Not yet, I don't think. If it has, it passed me by, but I don't think it did.
So they brought that out, said, do you guys all have phones? They brought it out, said, do you guys all have phones? Everyone hated that, dunked on them super hard.
Yeah.
And they just buried it?
It's possible. They were like, hey, Diablo 4. No. The mobile game, but don't worry about that. Diablo 4, though.
Mobile game? No. But it's going to be edgy and dark in Diablo 4. It's going to be super edgy. You're not even ready for it. It's going to be crazy.
But yeah. But because it's a game that I've spent so much time playing, I want to see it succeed, and I want to see it become...
I'm not saying that
I want to see a transformation. Because, I mean, to be honest, I don't really have a lot of time to play an MMO right now anyway.
Sure. Hey, guess what? I play it while I'm rendering episodes.
Yeah. But also, and I think this is good, my biggest point that I didn't even touch on initially was the community needs to change.
Yes.
Because I know Final Fantasy 14
welcoming and elitist community in WoW, and Final Fantasy 14, every single dungeon you run, I did not mean to cut you off, I'm sorry, I just the words came out, I was possessed, I apologize. Sure. But like when you run a dungeon, everybody goes, hey, how's it going? And you're like, I do, because I'm a rogue guide and I'm a sea dog, I literally do /P like for the party, and then I do ahoy and then the letter 0 and 7, so it looks like I'm doing the salute. I'm like ahoy, and then everybody's like, hey, how's it going? You know, whatever. Everybody's super nice, and they're like, oh, thank you for playing, is like the standard when you do a dungeon. And they literally have a thing where they go, hey, give someone a player commendation if you thought somebody did good, and you get extra stuff for giving people commendations, for giving them a hey, good job. And if you get enough hey, good jobs, you get a lot of rewards and stuff. So they literally have it ingrained in the game to be more positive. And a lot of the time when someone pops up in a city and is being a trash person, the whole community comes in with hammers and just starts beating the shit out of them in chat until they leave. They're just like, no, we're not about that. We're nice here. You fucking get this toxic shit out of here. And they're like, I thought you guys were nice. You're being mean to me. They're like, you're being a toxic jerk. Be cool. You're supposed to be cool. Everybody's being cool.
Be cool, chat. Be cool.
Exactly.
But yeah, which you kind of like you
Again,
made the
sorry,
point
I
of
did not.
it's
It just out of my mouth.
Final Fantasy 14 reminds me of like Cataclysm WoW, where people were still accepting. You could still find groups. You weren't afraid to be new. And I'm not in Final Fantasy 14, but in WoW, oh, nope, I will be playing a class I know how to play because I don't feel like getting private messages about how I should go kill myself because my tank, like my healing wasn't good enough, or I didn't, keep aggro like I should have.
Final
Because that has
Fantasy.
happened to me, and it's not fun.
I literally had someone tell me they were going to melon ball my eyes out because I tamed a pet as a hunter and did the courtesy thing when you tame a rare pet, because there people put up timers and they'll wait by pet spawns and look around a zone. They will put up timers and they want to know when you reset. When to reset their timer so they can know about what time to come back and look for this pet here. And so I put in chat, "Hey, I just caught that spectral leopard cat in." Lich King out in the jungle zone, and I was like, "Hey, I caught this," and they were like, people were like, "Thank you," and then one person messages me and goes, "God damn it, I've been looking for that for 3 weeks. I'm gonna melon ball your eyes out of your head," and I'm like, "That is not cool, bro. Report, block, fuck off."
But I
Like,
think the community has become a byproduct of the game's stagnation. Is like everyone's starting to get very bitter and elitist because I'm still here and I'm still doing this thing, and that makes me better than you because
and
I
it's
didn't go away for 2 years
and it's
and I've
also
been
that,
playing since day one.
yeah, and they don't expect they don't expect new players at this point. Like, they're just like,
Yeah,
"Oh, come on, man, you know this shit. Come on, we've run this 40 times a day," and you're like, well, "I haven't. This is my first time."
yeah.
Final Fantasy
Go
14.
LFG nerd.
Final Fantasy 14 also has another system that actually helps with new players. They have the Sprout system, where you literally see next to someone's name, if they're a new player, they literally have the Sprout logo. And then if you've played long enough, your Sprout goes away and it becomes a bloom, a flower, and it lets people know, oh, this person has played long enough, they probably know this. And the game actually tells you when you go into a dungeon, if this is someone's first time running this, it will say, someone in your party, this is their first time running this, just so you all know someone is new to this thing. And then somebody will usually the tank or the healer will take it upon themselves, which I'm paranoid about that stuff, so I will go read the wiki of what the boss fights are, because there's a lot of crazy unique mechanics in 14. But they will take it upon themselves and just call out like, "All right, take this, get behind the snowball when this spell gets cast so you don't die," and you're like, "All right, sick," and so they'll do that. But that's a really cool and welcoming thing that WoW doesn't have anymore, and is unfortunate. And I think that having stuff like that, like putting in a Sprout system for WoW, would be a good idea. And doing the commendation thing, like, I think that there's a lot of really positive systems that they could take from Final Fantasy 14 that they're not, but they're willing to make an entire expansion based off of a feature that is like 6 years old in Final Fantasy 14. The Torghast thing still blows my mind. They made a whole expansion about it. It's so crazy. They were like, this is our new expansion, guys. It's based off this one thing. You're gonna love Torghast. And it's like, yeah, you're right. I loved the Palace of the Dead in Final Fantasy 14. It was really fun. It's just crazy to me. Yeah. So crazy. So crazy. There's so much stuff they could take that is really good stuff, because Blizzard likes to take stuff and refine it down. And it's like somehow with WoW, they think they have done the refining. Yeah. But they've refined too much. They have, instead of carving a statue out of marble, they carved a statue and they kept carving and then sanding it. So now it's just a plate.
Yeah, it's just a flat surface.
It's not a sculpture anymore. It's now just a flat surface, because they have now just balled the tires on the whole thing.
But yeah, we could ramble on about this for hours.
Yes, we should probably digress from WoW and go back to actually talking about the actual things. I don't think we actually talked about that. We've talked about what WoW could do, but as far as like the actual subject of our games, are there games that are beyond salvation? Probably. There are probably some cases, like Final Fantasy 14 was a rare situation where it was terrible, and then they've turned it around and it's become like the best thing ever. No Man's Sky came out and they ate crow. It
had nothing in that game that they promised.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they even said, yeah, there's multiplayer. It was like, well, what do we look like? If you want to see what you look like, you'll have to find another player. And then they were like, okay, cool.
And then I guess they didn't expect people to go to planets to like see if it worked.
So the day of the launch, two streamers went to the exact same planet, because their people were screaming, "Oh my God, you're on the same planet! Oh my God, you're on the same planet!" And they were looking for each other. And they got to the same exact spot, couldn't see each other. Immediately clipped it, called out the devs, and then they ate crow. It was really bad, but they have now turned that around into a absolutely phenomenal phenomenal game. That game
A
is
game
so
that maybe
good.
one day I'll get into.
That game is so good. You can own your own town now. You can literally be a broker of your own town, of your own planet. You can own a frigate group where you send off ships to go do different, like you can do combat missions. You can send them off to go do like trading, exploration, mining. You can send them all off to go do different stuff. Like you send them off in real time and they come back like a day or so later and they like have stuff for you. And it's a ton of stuff. You can make a lot of good money that way. And it starts out, it's a free system. They like, you like show up and find someone with a tutorial ship that's like being attacked by pirates, and you talk to them and they're like, you want me to captain this for you since you saved me? And you're like, yeah, get in the bag, let's go, come on. And like they've added Derelict, where it's like Dead Space missions where it, like the camera zooms in really close over the shoulder and the lights are all really dark, and there's like some of them will be like, oh, the crew died from exposure to the space and it's really cold, and so you have to like turn on heaters in different areas to make safe pockets so you can go through and find a bunch of cool stuff. You find like the logs of the crew, find all this different stuff, and then some of them are like, oh, there's like aliens that broke out and are like killed the crew, and you have to deal with the outbreak and like find the logs and find all this stuff, and you can find tech and stuff like that. Like that game is so good. But as far as games that cannot be saved, I do think that's the case, because if it wasn't, then all of those MMOs that came out during the gold rush of WoW would be
still be here.
Yeah, and like you think about games like Balan Wonderworld, that game, like it basically means like first impressions are important. The Avengers game came out, the story was really good for it. The multiplayer was lackluster. Then they brought out some more story stuff. People seem to like the story stuff. Then when they played through that, they get back to the end game. The end game is boring. What was their response to do to that? Well, let's make it harder to grind. Let's make the grind actually slower.
Let's make it longer to get to the end game, so we don't have to worry about content.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. If we make it where it's harder to get to the end game, then we actually try to buy ourselves more time that way. And that's unfortunate. And they've come a long way with that game, and it does feel it does feel fun to play that game. Yeah. But playing that game, it's not worth the size on my hard drive. If it was a smaller sized game, but it's such a massive game that it's like, if I put that on my hard drive, and hard drive space is rare in this day and age, it would take half my hard drive for something that I just don't give a shit about. So I'm not going to, it's just not. Yeah. I have no, it does not spark joy. It goes in the bin.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like, I think that for me, my opinion has always been, things should die. You shouldn't just keep something limping along on its last leg, because I think failures are just as important as your successes, and something failing should teach you what you didn't do right. Like a big example for me was, what was it, Black Ops 4, when it was just like a battle royale. And I know some people liked it. I think it's still going technically. But it also didn't really work because it was up against a lot of these other much more successful battle royales.
Yes.
And they didn't do it again. It hasn't been in a game since. And I think that's important, because they realize, okay, this didn't really work. We'll just, because within Black Ops 4, but I guess they did Warzone.
Yeah, I was going to say they did Warzone, which they learned from Blackout mode. They did Warzone, and Warzone is still going, and they're moving Warzone. They're keeping Warzone going with all the new games, and that is now their thing. They left Blackout to die, at least, but
but Warzone is its own separate thing, and it wasn't. They didn't come out with just Call of Duty Warzone, and that was the release that year.
Right. No,
Warzone was a part of what Modern Warfare.
It's a part of Modern Warfare, and they update it with all of the skins and the cosmetics from each game as it comes out. But you still have to have Modern Warfare installed, which is the biggest Call of Duty game as far as install goes. So again, fuck that. It's not worth having most of my hard drive be Call of Duty. When Vanguard came out, it's like 30 gigs. That's great. I can handle it, no problem. But like, absolutely, Modern Warfare is like 120 gigs, and I'm like, you can go gargle mouthwash, sir. That is crazy what you just said to me. That is a sin, and no thank you.
Yeah. It's like I said, if you aren't willing to learn from something, you're never going to move on. You're never going to get better. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why. And I get there's a lot of people who, a lot of these things come out and you want to support these things because you like them, even if the general populace doesn't. I mean, we've both had games that we feel, and maybe that'll be a segment one day where, we talk about our own hot takes on games that a lot of people aren't exactly, high on that we loved. For
Remake
example,
Iron Brigade, you raggedy fucks.
yeah, or our love for Dead Space 3.
I love that game.
And
It's a
I will
great
defend
game.
that game to the day I
It's
die.
a wonderful game. So fun. I think about, as far as talking about things dying and learning from, but not so much of that, learning from failures. Still Standing, the things that I learned from Still Standing was because I started out several years ago with a YouTube channel. And I was like, I'm going to be a Let's Player and do that whole thing. And I was like, okay, but I was terrible at it. I didn't know how to do stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do, my mic sounded awful.
Videos you and I playing, well, those are rough.
Right, like sometimes in our videos now, because we have to record remotely because COVID and distance, like sometimes the mic cuts out for a second, like it just did as I'm pointing it out. For a split second, it like half of the word "yeah" was cut out. It's fine, it doesn't matter, it'll be okay. But the thing about that is, what I could do is have you record it remote. You could record it locally, and then I could go try to sync those up. But that adds a ton of time to try to do that for half of a word being done. That seems not worth the manpower and the processing and having to upload and download and send all this stuff around. It's just not there. Like it's fine. It's whatever. It'll be okay. But I learned a lot of stuff about editing and OBS and a lot of stuff about how that works from doing that. And then I took that information that I learned to when I started Twitch streaming, and I learned a lot more about how to do transitions and stuff like that there. And then took that information and have now brought that to Still Standing, where yes, we don't do a ton of flashy shit on our videos, but they don't require that. Like, yeah. I don't have, also, most of the stuff that people were cutting into their videos back in the day, you can't do now because they'll get copyright. Like, you can't put the 2 hours later on there anymore, or Paramount is going to go, hey, thanks for the video, buddy. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for this free Let's Play that we didn't know existed, but we do now because we're claiming it because you put that one thing on there. And, like, so that's not a thing. And, like, I could go delete those videos. I think that most of them may be in like a video. I think they're like in a playlist that just says old abandoned videos or something like that on my YouTube. But I leave them there because I like to go back and watch them every once in a while and go, God damn, I've come a long way. Like, I'm proud of, I'm not like doing like whatever. Like, this is a green screen. This is, it's super easy to do now. But back in the day, chromaing was not so easy, and I couldn't do it. I had a sheet behind me. I have a whatever, but I had like a dark navy blue sheet. And like, I was so proud of that. I was like, yeah, I worked hard at it. It's my set. You like my set? It looks awesome, right? Yeah, it's a big solid color. It looks so good. And it's the dumbest fucking whatever. I bought a fucking sheet at Walmart. Whatever. But I was proud of it. And I learned from it. And it sucks. And I think the biggest video I did on there got like 30 views for like an episode of Sonic Adventure or something, where I was like, I want to play Sonic Adventure. And I learned that Sonic Adventure has terrible audio mixing. And boy, it sure is hard to play that game now on content without doing a whole lot of mixing and stuff like that, because it's very loud. So that's the thing. But anyway, I digress. That was a thing that a very important thing to me personally, where yes, I learned from that. Did it take off? No. But did I learn a lot? A ton of invaluable stuff that I use now for this project, which I'm very excited about, and I love what we're doing. I love where it's going. It's very fun. And that maturity, the ruminating on it, going like, yeah, I've taken it on the chin. It sucks. Like, it wasn't great. I had fun doing it, but I'm having fun. We're going to
be taking it on the chin, I'm sure.
Yeah, but also like, even if 3 people watch our podcast, like, I will never be like I think it's a terrible look to be like, yes, all 3 of the people watching this. It's like, no, you out there watching this right now, I love your face. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. There's a billion things you could be listening to, and the fact that you're still here 47 minutes into this discussion about could games be allowed to die and fail, and we talked about WoW for 30 of that, and now I'm talking about a YouTube thing that died, because that's just where the podcast went. That's what it is. You came here for us at this, like, that's what you get.
At least I hope so.
Right. Well, but there's a million people talking about video games and stuff. So if
100%.
you're here, you're here for what we offer that others don't, and that is our thoughts. So you're getting those thoughts, whether they stay completely on subject. I'm still, whatever, but you're getting that. And so I
Yeah,
just, thank you for being here, and thank you.
very
like,
much so.
yeah,
I will always
so,
be. I will always be happy for the people who tune in.
yes.
It doesn't
So,
matter who it is, or if you love it or hate it. Your feelings matter, and I'm
yes.
happy that you're watching it to have those feelings.
Yes. So if you are watching this and you got this far, maybe uh, say eggplant. Say eggplant. And if you're watching this on YouTube, say eggplant in the comments. I want to know. I want to know who got this far. That's been my challenge to you.
I'd be curious to myself to who actually
Who will say eggplant in the comments? I will. I'm not gonna. I might say something about it. Who knows? I'll definitely respond. I'm not gonna tell you what I'll respond with, but I might respond. Talk to you. You might make a friend. You never know. You might make a friend. But I think that I need to go play more Elden Ring. And no, actually, no. Before I play more Elden Ring, because I do want to play more Elden Ring, and I want to go hunt down one of those tier things so I can become the Lizard Wizard, the Piss Wizard Maximus. That's me. I'm going to be the ultimate wizard in all the land. Before I do that, we need to go figure out what the hell that Destiny thing is.
That'll work.
But on that note, thank you so much for watching. We are still standing.
Absolutely.
Are. This is.
And if you're still standing, I'm proud of you.
Yes, I'm not. I'm sitting down, but I am technically still standing as well. So, technicality. Thank you for watching. If you like this, we have videos coming out Monday through Friday on YouTube. This is also on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. That is currently where that is. This is the video. Yeah, the video version's on YouTube if you found this on Apple, or if you found this on SoundCloud. The video version of this is available on YouTube for free for everybody. And I think that is it for now. I love your faces. Thank you. Hope you have a wonderful day. And bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.